Okay guys, it's been a while since I've recorded a video. I'm back, I guess, for now. I'm recording a brand new collection review video. It has been a while since most of you have probably seen my collection, and it is, as you can probably tell if you've seen it before, it looks quite a bit different, as I didn't move, so, and I have just one large Billy shelf, whereas before I had multiple. But yeah, this is my collection. So we'll be starting off at the top here. Of course I have Berserk. Got this about a year ago now. I plan to get the rest of Berserk, but I'm kind of waiting for it to finish up before I start reading it and stuff. That's why I only have one. I got this as a gift. I have the entirety of Danganronpa. Love the video games. I like the anime quite a bit, so naturally I have the entire series. Elfenlied. This is actually, I think, supposed to be pronounced differently because it's supposed to be pronounced in German, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Pretty good seinen, a lot of nudity, but for those who like edgier series, I would recommend that. Hellsing Deluxe, beautiful volumes, just like Berserk. I actually have read this. I read this volume online though, because I was at my job when I did. Very good series. If you like seinen, definitely recommend it. Next is I'm a Hero here, which covers these two, basically. I will say, for people who know about the series and want it, you're not really missing out. It's a good series, I'd say, but I feel like it is a far different experience than most people expect it to be, especially around one of these volumes. It changes up the way it tells a story quite a bit, so I can see people definitely not liking it if they don't like where it goes. Next is Innocent. This probably has the best artwork I've ever seen in a manga. And I'm not even joking about that. It's by Shinichi Sakamoto, the creator of The Climber. His art is actually significantly better in this series. Very, very good. I would highly recommend this to pretty much anybody that likes seinen. Next is Planetez. I haven't actually read these. I wondered about the deluxe, but I found these for I think it was like $25 for both of them, which was really, really good price. And so I bought both these. I'm gonna read these and I'll buy the deluxes later. Haven't read it though, so I can't really talk much about it. Manhole, only Kana series I have, and I'm incredibly surprised by how short this series is. It is quite good actually. Very short. I feel like it definitely could have been longer than it was. Good short read. Yeah. Baki here, volumes 1 and 2. I will be getting the rest of this at some point. I guess this is leaked information, I guess. Don't know how many people know, but they have a box set up on Amazon. Hasn't been officially announced yet, but that does exist. I might buy the box set when that releases and just sell both of these, depending on how I feel. But, I haven't read it either. Akira, this is actually one of my top 10 favorite manga series. It's kind of an awkward angle for me. Very, very good. If you've watched the movie, if you like the movie, this is going to be like a masterpiece to you. This will probably be your favorite manga if you like the movie. This is a lot better than the movie. The movie really heavily condenses everything here. This wasn't even actually finished when the movie came out, but the author was working on the movie, and so the ending is roughly the same in both the movie and this. Phenomenal. Attack on Titan, haven't read this. I don't have all of it, so I won't be reading anytime soon, and I'm kind of waiting to see what the Deluxe's Kodansha announcers are going to look like, because I might just buy those instead. Coming all the way over here, I have Cells at Work. I didn't read this series, but I did watch it all, so I have the general gist of the story here. Also very good. Surprisingly educational, considering, because as far as I know, it is actually pretty damn accurate to how the body actually works. If you have a kid that's maybe like a younger teenager, 13 to 16 years old or so, this would actually be pretty damn good to give them just because of what it's about. Next is Gleipnir. This is one of the first series I ever bought. When I first started buying it, it wasn't even complete, the series. The author wasn't finished. I have read it all. Not as good as I wanted it to be, considering it was one of the first series I bought. But if you like seinen and you don't mind a decent amount of fan service in your series, it's pretty solid. It just does fall off a little bit near the end. Next here we have Inuyashiki, by the author of Gantz, and Gigant for a few who've read that, but not Gantz. I mean, I don't actually have Gantz, I've never read it, but Inuyashiki of the two which I have read, that being this, and of course Gigant here. I like this series a lot more than Gigant. It's actually really, really good, and definitely a pretty deep seinen in terms of like the story and stuff. Definitely recommend this. And if you have Saint Youngman, want to buy the rest of this because this is actually pretty funny. I never actually did finish this volume, as you can tell. There's a bookmark up there. But what I did read, I thought I wouldn't enjoy this that much because I'm not very religious. But I know enough about religion to actually find a lot of the jokes in here pretty funny. So if you don't think you would like it, at least try it out because it's unexpectedly funny. I've got Young Magazine here, which shout out to one of my friends, Bepiz, for getting me this because he went to Kinokuniya and got this for me. Shout out to him. This is, I believe, it's 20 different like individual chapters of different series, and most of them are kind of not that great, with a handful of them being pretty good. For those who know anything about this, you'd be for the people who did read this or you read it online, you got to vote afterwards, and then those, I think it was like 3 series got serialized. But so this has some bangers, some misses. If you want to get it, I think it's kind of expensive now on eBay because it was limited, but there's that. Next is Bastard, one of the very few manga I've actually ever read. I read this years ago, and they semi-recently came into English. Really, really like this series. This series and Sweet Home, which I believe are the same author. Phenomenal series. I actually really, this one is my favorite of the two, but this is a banger. I highly recommend that, even if you're not a fan of manga. Gigant, this is a series that when I started reading it, I was hoping it to be a lot like Inuyashiki here. It is a completely different experience. Kind of hard to talk about this because of the subject matter of the series. Let's just say this character here can grow, and her clothes do not stay on her when she does. It's okay. Like, I feel like if you like Gantz, you'll probably like a Gant, but I can't say I was a huge fan. Next, we have one volume of High Rise Invasion. I have not read this, but I did watch the anime, so I know the content of this volume. I will be getting the rest of this at some point, I just haven't yet. But, there's that. To Love Ru, this is probably one of the strangest series I have here. This is a series that I watched when I was much younger than I am now. And, I liked it when I was a kid, so I bought it without really thinking about, the subject matter of it. I keep it because it's just something I did enjoy back then. But I probably won't ever read this, since I did watch the show all the way through, and that's why I know the series. Of course, I'm missing some volumes. If you know anything about the series, these volumes that I'm missing of Darkness, To Love Ru Darkness, are very expensive, so I don't know if I'll ever get those unless I just happen to find them for cheap, but I doubt it. Next is Dot Hack. Haven't read this, but this is a series that I had a game called Dot Hack on a PS2 years and years ago. And so I bought this because I really liked that game and it was kind of nostalgic. It's very short, so I will definitely get around to reading it at some point. But I have not technically read this. Next is Battle Royale. Of course, the deluxes came out, well, the first deluxe came out semi-recently. And I do want to buy those, but until those are finished being published, probably won't be selling these singles. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I'll sell singles in general because I do kind of like the fact that this is the first way I read the series, so it kind of has some attachment to it, despite the misalignment of the spines up here. This volume here is really hard to see. I would grab it out, but I feel like it's gonna be hard to put back. It's called Jing, King of Bandits. I believe it is the first volume of it. It's actually like a sequel series to Jing, King of Bandits. A series I know very little about. I just bought this volume because it looks really damn nice. It has a shiny cover for those who actually do own it. But to read it, I would probably need to read the original series before I ever touch, I'm assuming, what is a sequel. Coming over here, we have Ajin, Demi-Human. Great series. Honestly, I like this series much more than I expected to. Read it a couple months ago now, and I absolutely love these spines. I know a lot of people don't like colorful spines like this, but I personally really do. And these are really damn nice. Very good series if you like seinen. As usual, I would recommend this series. Definitely a series that doesn't lean quite so much into being a Japanese, I guess you can say. Nothing really weird happens in this. It's pretty straightforward. Like I said, I would recommend that. Next is The Dissolving Classroom. This, in my opinion, is Junji Ito's worst like collection, I guess. I think it's one story. I know I think actually it's a collection that involves the same characters. I don't quite remember. It's been like 3 years since I read this. Definitely his worst work. I would recommend, if you got this, to only get it if you're trying to get the entirety of Junji Ito's stuff. Otherwise, probably skip out on this. Next is No Longer Human. Have not read this. As you've probably noticed, I don't read a lot of my really short stuff. Haven't read this yet. Love the covers. For those of you who know the covers for the singles like these, they're really damn nice. But I will read those at some point. Next is my assortment, as you can see, of 20th Century Boys. I bought these actually brand new from a local comic shop, and that's why I bought them, before quickly realizing that the last probably around 5 volumes are really expensive. And so I'll probably end up just selling these at some point, just buying the entire set, because I was wanting to piece this together originally, but that's just going to be really damn hard. So, and then of course I have this. This is actually why I even know I'm going to like this series and why I would just randomly buy these, because of this first volume here. Next is these two. These two are here because there's a gap made for when I got more of this, but I never did. All You Need Is Kill, which has the art from, I believe it's Obata from Death Note. Yeah, it's right here. Takeshi Obata. I actually watched the American movie. For those of you who don't know, I think it's called Edge of Tomorrow for this. I'm pretty sure it's significantly different, but there is actually a movie that's this was adapted from. It's definitely an interesting movie. I want to read this, haven't yet, but I'll get around to it at some point, and maybe make a video on it if it's good enough. Next is After God. I have read this, only 1 volume, so I don't really have much to say about it. I actually don't know if it's a shonen or a seinen, just from what I read. Pretty good setup though. Excited to see what happens later, but at the moment I only have 1 volume of knowledge, so it's kind of hard to talk about it. Next is Ayashimon, what many people consider to be like the most potential manga, I guess, before it got canceled. As you can see, it's only 3 volumes. People will glaze this series, even though it was canceled. I will say near the end, I could definitely see the appeal, but when I was reading these 2 volumes, I was just like, this is just another Shonen Jump work. But once you get to the 3rd volume, you start really seeing it come together, and then it gets canceled. The ending is kind of mediocre. Next is Battle Royale, Angel's Border, and then Enforcers. Haven't read these, as I'm waiting to reread the series in deluxe form, hopefully, and then I'll probably go ahead and read these. Enforcers, I think, completed a couple months ago in English, or we got caught up to date, I think. I don't remember if it's actually finished or not. But yeah, I will be reading those after I reread the series. I love Bleach, by the way, for those who are wondering why the hell I have these random volumes here and not Bleach. Bleach is more expensive than these, but the little bit that I do have of Bleach is here. Bleach is one of my favorite series, probably my favorite shonen series of all time. But unfortunately, it's really expensive, so I just don't have it. But I do have, I think that's most of the like supplementary stuff, which I have here. Next is Chainsaw Man. For those of you who experienced the ending, I feel bad in a way, even though it's not really my fault at all, because I'm one of the few people that wasn't following this. I did read the last chapter when it came out because everybody was dogging on the series, and yeah, I can't blame you. The series kind of fell off for me around here, pretty early into part 2, which is part of the reason why I haven't bought more volumes here. I will get the rest of it at some point and just keep it, because I usually don't sell series that I have read. But yeah, that ending, if you know, you know. Next is Chojin X. I haven't read this actual volume, but I read the first 3 or 4 chapters online whenever it was first coming out. I did not like it, But my friends talk about it so much, they've kind of convinced me to buy this. And so I'm going to go ahead and reread the first volume, maybe 2 volumes. If I don't like it at that point, I'll just probably go ahead and sell this, as I'm probably not going to read anymore. But I really want to like this, since it's coming from Ishida. Next is Claymore. This series was surprisingly solid. A lot of people say it falls off about halfway through. I think the second half is actually significantly better than the first half. It's a great shonen, phenomenal actually, and because of the box set, you can actually get it for a pretty good price. If you like shonen, hell, if you like seinen, I would definitely advise you to read this because it's actually surprisingly good, all things considered. Next is Dead Man Wonderland, the series that actually got me wanting to buy manga. This wasn't the first series I bought, but it was the very first series believe I read, like, after I watched the anime, and it made me want to go buy the manga for it to read it. For those who have read this, or yeah, I guess read it, you probably know the ending isn't that great, but most of it is actually pretty solid. A series I can recommend, but just warning you, if you read this first volume and think it's going to stay that way, it doesn't. It leans more into shonen, especially later on, but it's a solid series. Next is everybody's favorite series here. I'm not gonna say everybody's favorite series, but the beginner series of all time, Death Note. Pretty solid. Obviously, I would advise you to watch the anime over read the manga personally, but if you haven't watched the anime, the manga is definitely a great way to experience it, and this box set, well, at least when I bought it, I just can't speak for now, was very, very cheap, and it's a great series. Like, if you're new to manga and you haven't experienced this series somehow, 100% read this. Like, don't even wait, just immediately hop on this because it is so good. Of course, the short stories, which I have not read actually, but I'll get around to it at some point. I don't really know much about this because of that. I just know a few panels from the short stories in here, but yeah. Next is Straw Humans That Can't Be Regenerated. I only bought this because, for those who know, this is the symbol for Magic the Gathering, and this is, I believe, a romance that has Magic the Gathering, motifs, I guess, and stuff in it. And so I bought it because of that, and it comes with magic cards in the back of each volume, for those who have bought this. I will read it, obviously, but my main interest for the series came from that. Next here we have Fire Punch. This, in my opinion, is Fujimoto's best work. Chainsaw Man has nothing on Fire Punch. Great series. Unfortunately, I only have Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man, and I actually haven't read any of their stuff. But this is the only other actual long series, and this is infinitely better than Chainsaw Man. I know some people don't like the ending, but the ending was fine to me, and it's weird at times, but it is pretty good. Next we have Full Metal here. I have the entirety of it, as I do have the box set. I mean, it's Full Metal. It's a lot like Death Note, where if you haven't experienced the series, just go immediately watch or read it. Very good series. This was actually one of the first anime I watched back in, I believe, 2019, so I will actually reread this series probably relatively soon, just to re-experience it, because it is quite a good shonen series. Next here we have JoJo's. I believe I probably mentioned this last time when I made this collection video, that I was stuck on this volume here. It is really hard for me to read JoJo's. I only got it because I know I'm gonna like part 4. I can guarantee I'm going to like part 4. It's just really hard to get through these first 2 parts in particular. This took me forever, and then I just haven't read it since because it's just really boring to me. And so I have not read JoJo in a while. And pardon my dust here. I need to dust off my shelves, as you can tell. But yeah, I'm hoping I can hopefully get back on this at some point, finish up part 2, get to part 3, which I don't actually know if I'll enjoy that or not, and then hopefully get to part 4 where I will finally be able to, I feel truly like the series. But until then, it's been a rough start. Next is all my Junji Ito stuff. As you can tell, this volume's off color. This is my oldest volume. This is the very first Junji Ito work I got, as you can tell. I have read pretty much all of this except for Liminal Zone and Tomie here. I do quite enjoy Junji Ito stuff. I know a lot of people don't, but I really just like his horror aspect. He doesn't have the greatest storytelling, and I will admit that is very much true. But his art and the horror that he portrays is just so unique and so cool that I just really enjoy reading his stuff. And every so often he does actually have some pretty good stuff. Like in Deserter, I don't remember the chapter, but I think there's like 2 stories in here that I've actually really enjoyed. So it's not like he doesn't have anything that's good. It's just pretty hit or miss most of the time. And naturally, I got this, for those who don't know what these are exactly, these are really old volumes of Uzumaki. Next is the Legend of Zelda hardcovers, which I do have the box set for, and the other volume is to my left here. I actually haven't read these, but I've played most of these games, so I know the story to a good amount of them. I will obviously read this at some point, but me knowing the story kind of delays me wanting to read them that much. Coming over here, we've got the last Zelda volume here, and then Mission Yozakura Family. I read the first 2 or 3 volumes of this. Once I get the rest, I'll go ahead and read it all the way through, but for now, I'll just leave it at what it is. Moriarty the Patriot. This is a series I actually really enjoy. I only have 1 volume of it. I just recently learned that it's actually continuing past volume, I believe it was 20 or 21. I didn't realize it was going to be a part 1, and then they're now making a part 2 apparently. Not sure how to feel about that, but I will be buying that entire part and reading it through at the very least to see if it's worth me going ahead and getting more. But watch the show for this, and this was pretty damn good. I feel like if you like mysteries or you like Sherlock Holmes, this is definitely a read. My name is Shingo, made by the author of The Drifting Classroom, which I actually used to have. I sold it off because I'm going to buy the singles of The Drifting Classroom at some point. Just haven't yet, because I buy primarily singles when it comes to manga, and I prefer them over even hardcovers like these. But I will read this eventually, as I did enjoy The Drifting Classroom. I didn't enjoy it a whole lot, but I figure I can go ahead and give a few of his other series like this and Cat-Eyed Boy at some point a try. Next is Platinum End. In my opinion, this is definitely Oba and Obata's worst work, but it is by far the best art Obata has ever created. The art in this is actually crazy. You would not think after Death Note and Bakuman his art could get much better, but holy does it. It gets really damn good in this series. This series actually has a very strong start, but near the middle it kind of falls off a bit, and then it kind of comes back at the end. And I know a lot of people hate the ending to this series. I thought it was fine, personally. Like, I mean, I understand the point of view people make, but endings to me aren't the entire series. So I enjoyed it for what it is. It's a slam dunk. I'll probably end up selling these, most likely, to get the deluxes that were announced not that long ago. I only bought these because these were like, would buy like 1 or 2 of these at a time to fulfill free shipping on orders. That's the only reason I had these. So I have not read them, obviously, as you can probably tell from past series. I usually don't read a series until I have it all, for the most part. And this is one of those series I have not read. So I'll probably end up selling these, and who knows, maybe next time you see my collection, it'll be deluxes, or at the very least, I want the version of it with the old logos, since I prefer that. But we'll see. Next is Tagami Bachi, and yes, I do have volume 7, it's on my dresser right now. Very interesting Jump series. It was running at around the same time as like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, pretty much Jump's peak. Very interesting. From what I have read, it actually is pretty solid, especially compared to what I thought it would be like. Because I bought it because these spines are pretty, as you can probably tell, without really thinking about the fact that it's a Jump series, which I'm not a huge fan of Jump for the most part. Now, there are definitely series I like from the magazine, but I can't say I'm a huge fan. And the series has been actually a pretty solid read so far. I'll see how it is by the end, but if it keeps up how it is, it should be at least a decent series. Next is this random volume of Undead Unluck, which I got because someone online was like glazing the series basically and begging me to read it. So I have not actually read this, because again, it's a series that is complete, that I just don't have all of, or even enough to like really warrant wanting to even read it. But this will probably get read at some point, and if I enjoy it enough, probably buy the rest of the series. Next is the Vagabond Deluxes here, which are gorgeous, and yes, I do read the paper on them. I know a lot of people don't, but I actually do prefer the paper on them. I've read both of these, phenomenal. Like actually a work of art and storytelling. There's a reason why this is up there with Berserk and Vagabond. This is actually, I think, probably my favorite so far. I've actually not read or watched the entirety of any of them, so my base of each of them is pretty early on in all three stories. But of the three, this is my favorite. Next is Zombie Powder. For those who don't recognize the name on here, Bleach author. That's the only reason I bought this. Kind of mediocre, to be honest. I see why it was canceled as early as it was. I mean, if you like Kubo, buy it. If you don't, then it's an easy skip. Next here we got Akame ga Kill, a bunch of random volumes that I've just bought over time by finding them in stores, and then another. Now I will admit, this another volume here was kind of an impulse buy because it was like $5 for like this huge volume. Watched the anime years ago, despised it. I might say despised it, but I thought it was kind of boring, and so I just never finished it. Hopefully when I go to read this at some point, that's a much more enjoyable experience. Okay, coming down here, we've got Big Order. I have read, I believe, this first volume here, but not the rest of it. There's 5 volumes in total. I only have 3, as you can tell. This is by the Future Diary author. Honestly, if you like Future Diary, you'll probably end up liking this from what I have read. Otherwise, it's an easy skip. Black God here, another kind of impulse buy, if I'm being honest. I only bought this because I believe this is most of the series here, for like, I think it's like $3 a piece. And, you know, I don't really blind buy a lot of stuff, so I kind of wanted to try it out here. So we'll see how that goes. Next up is Btooom. For those who don't know anything about this series, I just want to mention first that this is my favorite manga series of all time. And for those who have read it, yes, I know it is a really weird series. Very Japanese, if I had to put it into words. I feel like if you're going to read this, just be prepared, because this is quite an interesting story, to say the least. It might make a lot of people uncomfortable, to be honest, especially with some of the covers in the series. But I recommend it. Just be prepared for how really, really weird the series becomes, especially later on. Next here we have Doubt. This is actually the very first manga I ever bought. When I read it, I was actually very disappointed in it, especially the ending. But I have read it since, and I've kind of come around. It has a very open ending for those who want to know. And so I really didn't like it at first, but as I've reread it and as I've grown up, I kind of realized the ending is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty solid, if I'm being completely honest here. And I believe the author's other stuff, I think Secret and Judge, I think also kind of like call back to the series in some ways. And so if you read those, it might fill in the gaps for those who feel like the series was incomplete. Next we've got Goblin Slayer. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people probably know about Goblin Slayer. I bought this because I actually am one of the relatively few people who actually did like the series anime. I watched seasons 1 and 2 in the movie. I found these Goblin Slayer Daikatanas, and they actually look pretty cool. I actually don't really know anything about this, I guess, spin-off series. But it looked pretty solid, and so I'm hoping as I buy the rest of Goblin Slayer, I can buy these, and then I think there's another spin-off series too that I can buy and hopefully just read it all together. Next here we have Higurashi, another one of those series that I just really enjoyed. I mean, I have a review up on my channel. For those who know, I actually have not read any of these black volumes here. They're all Higurashi, but this is like a continuation kind of thing that I have not read. But the main series here is like really, really good. It's kind of weird to read because, I mean, if you can tell here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, because the series like just retells events constantly. That might be off-putting with people, but trust me, if you read it, it's not as bad as it sounds. And there is an actual order, as you can see. There's volume numbers up here that you follow, but these are the arc volume numbers. Very, very good. I mean, it's in my top 10 for a reason, and there's a reason I'm here to review on it. Love the series and would highly recommend. Finally coming to my bottom row here. This is kind of awkward because I'm laying on the ground. We have Ibitsu right there. That's one of the, I think it was in the first batch of manga I bought along with Doubt. I think it came in a couple days later, but I think it was bought at the same time. Pretty good horror. Pretty short, as you can tell. It's just a single volume. If you like just pretty classic horror, and maybe a little bit of psychological horror in there, would highly recommend to buy that because it is actually pretty good, especially considering how short it is. Next here we have Judge. This I'm hoping will help fill in the gap for Doubt. I only have 1 and 6 because I found them together, and the rest of the series is kind of expensive. I will read the series once I get the rest of it, but until then, it's kind of just here, first volume and last volume. Next here's OceanCo. I know people have their gripes about the series, but I read a good chunk of it. I didn't read it all, but I'd say I read most of it, and I like what I read. I know the ending is supposed to be pretty weird, but I'll be my own judge of that whenever I get to that point. Next here we have Prison School, and this is one of those examples of what I mean by an ending doesn't ruin a series for me. I know a lot of people like this series, but they despise the ending and it ruins the series for them. I'm not one of those people. I actually, the ending is bad, I'm not going to deny that, but it didn't ruin the series. I think it's actually really, really funny. Definitely for adults. If you're non-adults, I would definitely recommend you don't read this, because this stuff has some pretty graphic imaging in it, but it's really funny once you're at the age to read it. We got Super Ball Girls here, which for those who don't know, this is, I believe it's the author. Yeah, it's the author of Blue Lock and Jagan, and then has the artist of Prison School on it. It's quite a strange series. I think it's only 4 volumes, and so I need to buy the rest of those. I think we're only 3 volumes in the US, but I think it's 4 in Japan. Once it's finished up in the US, I'll go ahead and read it all the way through. I actually have read this first volume, even though mine is sealed. But quite the interesting story. And the stuff over here, I'll just go over briefly because this is just less important. I have some of the Walking Dead comics here. About half, well, not half the series, I'd say about 2/3 probably. I have 1 through 18 and then issue 32. And then all of this stuff here is, all this is being sold, or this is stuff for publishers that don't really exist anymore. So for example here, this right here is being sold, that being Tomahawk Angel, Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service, well, Kurosagi. The Ring and Birthday, actually, I thought the publisher was DMP Books down here until I looked up and saw Dark Horse. They're down here. These actually need to be moved up, but it's incomplete right now, so it's not really a huge priority for me. We have Boruto, volumes 8 and 9, which I'm selling. Blue Box, I thought it was really boring, so I'm selling that. And then these right here are just more published that don't exist anymore. That being Advanced Comics, I believe is what they were called, or Advanced Manga, Raza Manga Daio. I need to get the rest of this. There's only 4 volumes. I have 2 and 3. And then Basilisk, which is from Del Rey, another defunct publisher. I believe it's also 4 volumes, and I need to get all of that. And then next we have my 3 novels here, Battle Royale, which, as you can tell, I enjoy Battle Royale, so I have the novel for it. Stitches here, which is actually pretty solid with some artwork from Junji Ito. And then Overlord, which I got this, I think back in 2023. And I got this because I really liked Overlord, and then at some point down the line, not long after I got this, I had read that the author was not going to continue this series, and he was actually going to stop making after volume 18. I believe it's supposed to be the last volume, and his story's not going to be complete. It's going to end kind of abruptly, and so I just kind of stopped having interest in the series. I might go ahead and read it at some point, but the fact that the ending is probably going to be rushed really disappoints me. And, yeah. So yeah, that's my manga collection, guys. Much longer video than I expected it to be, and it has been a while. But, yeah. Thanks.